Good evening and welcome to the Finance Committee meeting of January 19th, 2023. A very happy new year to everybody. I confirm that we have a quorum, and as chair of this committee, I call the meeting to order. We will now proceed to our agenda. The second item after calling to order are reports and announcements. Are there any reports and announcements, Alex, or nothing? Okay. So we can proceed to item number 3, which is accepting the minutes from our meeting of November 17th, 2022. I assume everybody's got a chance to look through the minutes. Are there any concerns or any corrections anybody wishes to raise?
I move we accept the November 17th, 2022 minutes.
Second.
All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. The motion passes. We shall now proceed to the town manager's report, fiscal year 2024 budget process.
Excellent, thank you. Alex, would you like to start with that?
I'll start off with just a quick review of local receipts that we have been doing. So the local receipts that have been printed before you and are also in your drive are through January 11th. So we've collected about $3.8 million, which is approximately 32% of the FY23 budget. Just to do a little comparison through the end of December, this fiscal year we collected $3.6 million, and compared to last year, through that time we collected $3.9 million. Just a couple categories that are, they're all doing pretty strong, but licenses and permits, we've collected about 75% of the current year budget. Other excise for hotel and meals, about 70% for both of those categories. We do have our largest motor vehicle excise commitment coming up in March, so we're looking pretty good, honestly, across the board in all categories.
So this is starting from June of 2022 fiscal year.
July.
July.
23. July 23, right?
July 1st, 2022. That's when these numbers start.
Oh, yeah.
You said 70% or so, 75%?
75% of licenses and permits, that specific category. Overall, we've collected 32% of the total projected revenue for local receipts. But as I mentioned, we do have, so motor vehicle excise is a big commitment that goes out in March. So most of those funds in that category, which is one of the largest categories, will be collected then.
We still have, 5 months to go?
We don't have a complete January collection, so
Right.
some of the numbers there.
Yeah, that's what,
So as far as item number 20, I understand because of stock market issues, probably our investments really got hit. Was there any change in the strategy as a result of that? Are you aware?
I don't have a solid answer on that right now, but I imagine the strategy was, if it was changed, would have been through through Bartholomew. We can get an updated answer on that for you though.
Are there any other questions from the committee?
I have a question on the Selco Solar. It looks like nothing's been collected yet. What exactly are we expecting there? Is it?
Want to take it?
Yeah, so that's a payment in lieu of taxes. I believe it's tied to the landfill.
So they'll just pay us
We
once a year?
invoice them.
We invoice them once a year?
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay,
around
so,
November we invoice them, and that's usually when we see the payment
okay.
towards the end of their. Well, I'm sorry. We invoice them at the end of the fiscal year. That's when we'll see the funds come in.
Yeah, okay, so this is kind of a nothing there. It's gonna come in.
It will come, yes.
Any other questions? Gene?
Just like to do a little follow-up on that investment. I wonder if it's time that they bring Bartholomew in here and give us a little up-to-date review of exactly what's going on, because the way they invest and how they have to invest, et cetera, et cetera. Is it still under the town accountant's responsibility?
Correct.
Yeah. I would make that recommendation that they come in and make a presentation to show you exactly what is happening here on there, because that is a big amount. We've always been in the plus normally, and we always had a setup where they did a lot of smoothing
Yes.
on the percentages. So I would think it'd be very beneficial to the committee to bring somebody in and talk about it. I mean, they've got a lot of funds they're investing and controlling for the town of Shrewsbury. I think $1 million loss is something we should be looking into in a little more detail.
Yes, I think that's a very good idea. We do go through it during the budget hearing, but it's not from Bartholomew, correct? It's the town, somebody from the town management office. Talks
Bartholomew
about
does
it.
come in
Yeah, they came
to
in.
the
Oh,
finance
they
committee
came in.
meetings. Yep.
Okay.
During
They've come
that,
in.
with the treasurer collector's office.
And just want to, at one point, follow-up point, the variance is $1 million.
Yeah.
Correct.
It's not necessarily a loss of $1 million.
That is correct, yes.
It's the
Yep.
variance.
Yeah,
So, and we're in, for the first time in 15, 20 years, we're in choppy markets. I mean, if you go from 2010 to 2021, 22 was pretty much up every year. So I would expect at some point they're gonna, underperform. I'm not sure they even underperformed, but it'd be good to talk to them, see what they've done and if they've made any moves and what kind of moves they may have made.
of course.
94% of asset classes were negative last year, so it was probably one of the hardest years to make money in quite some time.
Are there any other questions on local receipts? We're all set. Yeah. Thank you, Alex.
Just a brief update on the budget process. We've begun the interviews with all the department heads as of this today. We've been meeting with the department heads, and we're trying to really focus on their budget proposals and how they're tying to the strategic plan. Really trying to make sure that they're identifying areas that meet the strategies of excel and thriving within the community. There's copies of the strategic plan now available at Town Hall. We strongly recommend people to come down. It's a great looking product, and we're really going to keep pushing our effort to make sure we're moving that forward. Fiscal projection 1.
Dennis had a question.
Is that also available online?
Yes,
Okay.
correct, yeah.
I can send out the link.
Yeah, because I
That
think
would
it'd
be
be,
wonderful.
and is the link well posted on the website? Because I hear a lot of people saying, I go there, I can't find the up-to-date stuff as easily as they'd like to, so I think it'd be good to get that out there.
Yeah,
Great,
absolutely.
thank you.
Could I just pump up where
Gene.
at the town hall available?
Town manager's office. They're right at the counter, so you don't even have to talk to anybody, you can just grab them.
That takes the fun out of it.
And fiscal projection 1, we're on target for February 10th for that being available. The hard copies will be available.
Yep, well, we're
Yeah.
using the same ClearGov platform that we used last year, so we'll still have the digital budget book, and then we'll also have the printed books for you as well.
And that's really what we have for you today.
Okay.
Unless there's any other questions?
Any questions from the committee?
Just a curious question. How long does this interview process within the department head goes, so that we can start getting an idea?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
can
sure.
just go over kind
Yeah.
of the whole timeline for the whole process. So, we're going through the budget meetings with departments now. The first iteration of the budget, fiscal projection 1, will be available on February 10th. And that will kind of take us into the budget hearings with the finance committee. That will be on March 23rd and then March 25th. So department heads and town staff will meet with you and present their budgets and their changes and any new requests, and then that will kind of take us into and start aligning with the planning for town meeting. So the select board will set the date and time for town meeting in February, but tentatively it's scheduled for May 15th, and that's outlined in your agenda as well. And then, we'll go through in April, the warrant will be reviewed and drafted, and you'll review all of the articles for town meeting, which also includes the budget. So it'll get more finalized as we go on through them.
Thank
One
you.
more question. Is part of the process for these department heads to look for places where to cut so they can make savings? I mean, is that like a goal that they have, is to find areas to, reduce expenses?
So we kind of start out with a level service
Yeah.
budget that we call it, and then, any new requests, that's what we discuss in these meetings with them, and just seeing, obviously, there's a number that we kind of need to stay under, and requests did come in about 2 million over that, so we'll kind of have to trim it down a little bit, at least to that amount.
Now, I was just curious if there was pressure for them, even before the budgets are done, to find areas of improvement or reduce expenses, et cetera.
Some department, like with DPW, which is
Yeah,
a group of lots of different departments, the town manager provided a number for what the total DPW could spend, so they sort of have to work within those constraints. We also look at the year-to-date budget reports from the current fiscal year, and if we see areas where they either haven't spent anything yet or they're spending more, those are areas we can question and we can make adjustments to their.
okay.
their
So we do look at that?
Yes, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions from the committee? Diana?
Generally speaking, how much time are we given ahead of the March 23rd and March 25th meeting to review materials and things? When will they be sent to us?
So you'll have fiscal projection 1 on February 10th, and that's really the document that takes us to those budget hearings. But as far as presentation materials and anything else, I would say within a week of
Okay,
the
thank you.
meetings.
And I believe the February 16th meeting, that's what we'll be concentrating on.
Yes, we'll also review fiscal projection 1. It won't be a public hearing, but we'll kind of present to you on February 16th, and then from there, if there's any changes, significant changes to the budget, you'll be made aware of that.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think we're all set. Thank you, David. We shall now move to item number 5 on the agenda, in which we review our upcoming meeting schedules. Our next meeting is set for February 16th, which is our usual Thursday evening meetings, I'm assuming 7 to 9. March 23rd and 25th are our budget hearings. It's a Thursday and a Saturday, respectively. So we usually have the Thursday meeting starting around 6 p.m.
Yes.
So it would be good if everybody takes a note of that. 6 to 9 is 3 hours, is a pretty long, intense meeting. And the March 25th one, we start early in the morning, 8 a.m. and till around 3, I think and we break for lunch.
And lunch is
Lunch is provided, yes. April 13th and the 27th are our public hearings on the warrant articles. Generally, I think the 13th, we generally do a long one on that, so start at 6 to 9, and probably the second one will be maybe a shorter one, 7. We can adjust it on that thing. Thursday and Monday, May 11th and May 15th, are our pre-town meetings and our annual town meetings, which we'll get more information as we get there. Are there any questions, any concerns about the schedule from the committee?
Just one quick note, usually when the annual town meeting is on a work day, it spills over in 2 days, so do we know the second day? Like, is it Wednesday?
I believe, so we actually sent a survey out to town meeting members just trying to gauge their preference, and I think the preference was to continue it on Tuesday. So
Okay.
if it did not complete on Monday, we'd like to continue on Tuesday.
Okay, thank you.
I think it was like 60% of respondents voted for Tuesday.
Yeah. April 15th. Yes. So 15 and 16 possible.
Possibly, yes.
Any other questions or comments on the meeting schedule? Very well, we shall proceed to the next item on the agenda, in which we review the correspondence that we received. So please bear with me as I go through this list. It's a rather short list. Item number A, email to the Finance Committee from Jane Lazat, Assistant Superintendent for Community Partnerships and Wellbeing, regarding the SHS American Government students, dated December 6, 2022.
Sorry, if I could speak on
Sure,
that.
absolutely. Please go ahead, Carlos.
Vikram, Jim, and I had the pleasure of meeting with Mr. Aloisi's American Government class. And I, speaking for myself, but I'm sure they all agree, that the kids asked very thoughtful questions. It was just wonderful to go back and talk to them about what the Finance Committee's role is in the budget process. And personally, I enjoyed going back because I took Mr. Aloisi's American Government class. And I definitely give that class credit for, I think, me being here, because if it wasn't for that class, I wouldn't know what town meeting was, how local government operated. So it was great to, make that full circle and go back.
It was a great experience. I'm sure Jim also, you felt the same.
Yep.
We had a very, it was a great experience to interact with these young people who are learning about how local government works. So it was a great experience, and hopefully this continues and we get other
Definitely.
opportunities. Everybody gets opportunities to interact with our young people. Thank you, Carlos. Item number B was an email to the Finance Committee, also related to what we just discussed. It was from Jane Lazat, Assistant Superintendent for Community Partnerships and Wellbeing, regarding SHA students, dated December 12, 2022. Item number C, email to the Finance Committee from Abby Robinson of the Shrewsbury Youth and Family Services, regarding the SYFS 2023 Annual Breakfast, dated January 10th, 2023. And I think the January 12th one in the next item was the cancellation, regarding cancellation. Email to the Finance Committee from Abby Robinson, Shrewsbury Youth and Family Services, regarding the SYFS 2023 Annual Breakfast Update, dated January 12th, 2023. Are there any questions or comments on the correspondence we received? No. I shall now ask for a motion to adjourn this Finance Committee
So
meeting.
moved.
In a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. The motion passes and we adjourn. Thank you, everybody.